Well, this is completely different, isn't it? Welcome to Minecraft, I suppose. Perfect time for loud engine. I decided that since I kind of made this design of sorts, I might as well create something to kind of show how to make this. Basically, I have designed a sort of modular automatic farming system, well, semi-automatic, and this thing can be layered on top of itself all the way from wherever the first part you build is at, all the way up to sky height, which every layer will produce 48 wheat or 48 blocks of whatever crop you put there. It could be potatoes or whatever you want, which for one person is excessive, but it can be nice for selling to villagers. So, guess there's not really any reason to waste time on anything else. The material list that will be needed is in here. This is for later, obviously. A lot of this stuff can be kind of replaced. The bone block could be any structural block. I just decided on bone block because when finished, this thing looks disturbingly like a giant rib cage, and it is kind of a cool aesthetic. The dirt is not exactly replaceable, but there's a good chance that whatever dirt is there will already be there, which is why I already have it placed. 28 redstone dust, the 2120 stone bricks. Don't know why I have this other one. You can just kind of go all the way over here. Why did it not throw it? There we go. 20 stone bricks can be replaced with any other structural block. The polished andesite slabs can be any slab. These can be any structural block. These can be any solid block. These can be any stairs. And then this will just be whatever is your ground material. I actually got it directly from right here because that's going to be layered over the top of some redstone there. And then 5 water, technically the first layer. This box is just for the first layer, of course, but technically the first layer requires 9 water, but you can kind of do this cheap thing where you steal water from itself, and so you really only need a couple buckets, or just one bucket with an infinite water source. So I suppose we might as well get started. I will leave the dirt in there because it's already placed, but the rest of this stuff I'm probably going to take in a rather particular order. Right. Well, this is taking considerably longer than expected, but I want them to be in very definite slots in my inventory. Alright. So, first thing to do, this area that I have defined, inside of this, the frame itself is of course 1 block larger on each side, but the inside of this is 13 by 14. That's the size of this overall farming system. So basically set out a 13 by 14 area, and then on the side that is 13 blocks in length, in the exact center, you can kind of, I made a bit of a visualization here to show that it is the center. Dig 2 blocks down there, and then 2 here, 2 there, and then 1 block for 4 on each side, and then for 6 along here. When you get to this point, this will be the center of a 2 by 9 area that needs to be dug out 1 block deep. Once this central, I guess kind of a weird lopsided H shape is made, from this point, go 2 blocks over, dig down 2, down 1 there, and then down 2 all the way this way until you are kind of diagonal from here. Then turn and go until you are at the 3rd block on this, and then just 1 here. And then to finish the prep work, down in this little trench of sorts, dig out these two, that one, that one, that one. Leave this one intact. And that should kind of define the farm. If you're building this in a place where the ground isn't dirt or grass, then obviously you're going to need to cut out this area and fill it with dirt, but other than that, this should be good. And then figure it's best to just get the somewhat annoying stuff out of the way first. So drop down into here, place the stairs upside down in this direction, and then double chest and hopper. I usually throw something in here just to make sure that it cycles through and that I didn't screw something up. Place the sign on that block, and then 2 buckets of water, one here, one here. The sign is just to stop the water from doing anything funny. And from there, the best thing to set up would be the little redstone trench over here to activate everything. So just grab the redstone dot there, 2 here, and then repeaters placed there and there. This one on 4 ticks. This is kind of making a pulse extender because just tapping the button once will kind of cause some funny business where the water doesn't flow for long enough, so some of the weed or whatever will just stay on these areas. So this just extends it so that it makes sure it pushes it all the way to the end. So that there, and then place repeaters on 4 ticks in each of these. From here, place redstone. That is 9, 10, and then right here, put a repeater, and then just up like that. And that should leave you with 11 redstone if you had exactly 28 to start with, which is the perfect amount. From there, we can place a stone brick here with a redstone torch on the side, stone brick, redstone torch. Basically, this is going to be the start of the torch tower that, in the case of the modular farm, this thing here will basically carry the pulse all the way up and make sure that each level does the exact same thing. And then 1 stone brick right there, or whatever block you end up using for this, and then the button, because that will just be to switch everything off and on again. And you can kind of see already that pulse extender at work. And then the other stone bricks, you make a pair of 2x4 areas at the back here. And that is the kind of ground level finished, I suppose. Completely lost my train of thought on what I was even doing here. Alright, bone. So most of this entire thing is actually built out of solid bone, which is, I suppose when you think about it, somewhat disturbing, but here we are. So 1 bone block here. I suppose we could place the water already. No reason not to at the moment. Just 2 forward like that. And then 5 back on either direction here. And then bring this all the way, fall in the trench apparently, all the way to 1 block in front of the little water trench here. And then, kind of make that. You can already see how this shape being tessellated upwards would make somewhat of a rib cage if you make it out of bone. And then this at the back ends up looking kind of like a spine. It's upsetting, but here we are. And then with the rest of the bone blocks, you just place them here, 1 to either side, 1 in front of each of those, and then bring them out to the edge. And that should use all your bone blocks. I probably shouldn't have placed that water now that I look at it, but here we are. So dig out these 2 dirt blocks because we need to place the pistons facing downwards right there. And then same on the other side. Whoop. And now with the remaining redstone, just kind of cover this upper layer here, and that extends all of the pistons down. And now you can take your 2 buckets of water and you can do this thing where you place it there, and then 2 blocks over, and that creates a water source in the middle, which you can use to feed the rest of the water. Just completely fill the back section there with water. And then polished andesite slabs, I prefer to have them 1 block up like this. Well, any slab honestly, but because if any of the wheat decides that it's going to pop off in this direction, I'd rather it fall into this trench and get sucked into the center than fall on top of a slab and not be collected. So just layer the slabs over the top here. This is just that this water doesn't flow in there. And then for some quick lighting, 2 blocks here, torches on either side, torches at basically the very end of each of these, right in line. Whoop. And then we can just use the whatever block was here. Probably isn't going to be sandstone if you're building this in a survival world, but we can layer it from here all the way back and just kind of cover up all the redstone. That block there, you're probably going to need to put something else here, but that's up to personal preference. Most of this is just so you don't fall in and have to walk back out, as I've had done many a times now. When you press the button, pistons come up, water stays for long enough that it will get all the wheat to the end and flow into the center there. And then these here are very straightforward, just pillar up 3, ladders on the side. This is essentially because it is a constant vertical farm, so you can just walk up to the next layer and drop onto it. And that is actually it. It's, as redstone contraptions go, fairly straightforward. Only thing really left to do is till all of the dirt and put the wheat or potatoes or whatever the heck you want to grow here in place. Assuming that it's a standard crop, of course. This won't work for melons and pumpkins and such, obviously. But that's the overall structure of the first layer. Alright, with the first layer done, because that is literally it, we can move to the second layer. I'm only going to build 2 layers on this one, but the second layer can basically be repeated an infinite number of times up until you reach build height. And the material cost for layer 2 is in this chest here. We got an entire stack of whatever structural block you used around the edges here. Again, I use bone because rib cage. 48 dirt, which is the amount that's going to be working for this. Obviously, because we're building up, the dirt won't just already be there this time, so it would be best to actually have it, you know, available. 20 miscellaneous structural blocks, 11 redstone dust, 10 torches, 8 pistons, 6 slabs of any description, 4 blocks for that stack there, 4 ladders, 4 redstone torches, and 2, again, any block. I'd suggest it being the same one as you have the slab be, just because of that little aesthetic there. And You only really need 3 water buckets for this one. Technically, you could probably do it with 2, or just 1 with an infinite water source, because of that whole copying thing. And that's really it, so might as well start on this. I'll just devour the entire box so we don't have to waste time on that this time. Now for this, the best way to start is to start with the torch tower. So just kind of do a little motion like this, place a stone brick on top of the existing torch, place a torch on the side of it, and that will go through all 4 of the torches that you already have and kind of create this little zigzag structure. From there, from that block right here, we go 1 back and kind of copy this little thing down here. Again, this thing is designed for modularity, so a lot of this is going to look very familiar because it is literally the same thing being done again. And you have that little shape there. Pistons can be placed now just so that we don't have to worry about that later on, because placing them facing down when there's already blocks in the way is pretty annoying. Whoop. That can be fixed later. Alright. From here, you will want to make down 1 from there, and come out to, well, kind of knew that was going to happen, but here we are. 1 past the edge here. Obviously repeat on the other side. This is a very symmetrical build. And then kind of make the outside frame roughly the same as what we have on the lower level. And it can help to leave this 1 extra block in the middle just so that you can have this be only 1 stack of items instead of 1 stack plus 1. From here, alright, it would be good to start placing the dirt, so the dirt will actually start there. Well, which will be, basically there should be 3 blocks of air between these 2 here. And just kind of create a 6 block long structure that is 3 blocks wide. And then repeat on the other side. This part, as you build higher up, this becomes a bit more annoying. This is part of why I have the frame built first, just because that's the easiest part to fall off of. As you build closer to sky level, it can help to hold shift while building, just so you don't fall to your death, because things do get rather precarious around here. And then from here, build 2 forward. These spaces here will actually be stone bricks, or whatever block you're using. So you can just kind of fill these in. Again, 2x4, just like what's directly underneath it. And this, well, I actually placed this 1 block too high, so it actually goes here. You can place it off the side of this redstone. Build that all the way back to the very end here. And, well, I guess I've kind of built myself into a corner here because there's not really any way for me to get back up, so now might be the perfect time to build that. And basically, as you continue to build, this ladder will just get taller, and you just go up the side, hop onto it. And 2 blocks here, just to prevent any weird water source issues. And then the water buckets can go 1 right there, and that shouldn't flow off the edge. Might be best to actually get the system working before placing the others, however, because we don't want to just have water everywhere. So, other water buckets go in here. And again, you can just kind of use this little stealing from itself trick, and for some reason it didn't work on that corner. Oh no, did it? Thought it might have caused issues involving like the new waterlogging feature. But from there it's just lighting and this little section in the middle. So we can just place the lights around the edges in the exact same arrangement as was used before. And this arrangement means that every single block will have a light level of at least 10, and you need at least 9 to grow wheat. So the lighting is pretty nice to have, just so it keeps growing at night. And then, once again, that is essentially it. I have 3 other bone blocks, which is rather concerning, and I'm worried that something's about to explode when I pull the trigger here, but I think it's just because I had a bit more, like, aesthetically up here. But you can just press the button, and you can kind of see the water appears up there as well, and basically it will throw everything off the edge of the front here. This bone block could actually be lowered by a single space if you're worried about that, which can be something that's annoying because like it wouldn't have enough momentum to carry it into this block, but it would be to carry it into the block under. So if you'd like, you can use 2 extra blocks to just kind of build up this section a bit lower. Of course, I left a decent number of the blocks up there, and I think a couple of them probably fell into the hopper. Yep. But overall, it's just kind of, with that, it's a matter of preference. It's just, what do you want to do with this? Up to you. And that is honestly it. This is pretty straightforward. It's just this little hole at the beginning. Instead of having to have another entire water stream that'll take it all to the center, it'll just get thrown off the edge and into the main water stream at the bottom, which will take it to the hopper. So that section up there can be rebuilt as many times as you want, and you can already see the rib cage starting to form here. Okay, is there a reason you're here, friend? Don't screw with my stuff. Alright, whatever you say, buddy. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's honestly it. It's, as contraptions involving redstone in Minecraft go, it's really straightforward. It's just pulse extender, torch tower, pistons. That's really the only thing done with redstone in this. So, I guess that'll be that.